Oh, really? All right, tell me, X. Give me the skinny.
It's wild card teams. I mean,
right.
Even Shanghai has played some really strange stuff, especially on Dorado with that of year map 4, and then Chengdu. Man, I love Chengdu. They play everything. I would not be surprised to see Ash. I would not be surprised to see anything from these teams.
That's the main thing. Although you do tend to say that, the Hunters, they stick to their guns. They play their own brand.
Yeah.
And, well, that is kind of what we expect to see in this matchup. They got a lot to prove, Hex.
Yeah.
But, the other team that's got something to prove, Shanghai.
A little less to prove now as Shanghai finally got their first win. And it's kind of strange in sports. You'll hear, it's been 20 years since this team made the playoffs. And obviously, that's a different team. They're different people. It's been 20 years, right? So Shanghai, different roster almost entirely, only a couple holdovers. But that still gets in your head a little bit, the brand that Shanghai's winless. So now they can focus and move on. This all-new roster. They got their one win behind them. Now it's time to see, how are they legitimate? Some people have them as top 10 team in the league. I want to see a little bit more of them. And it's strange because it could be a situation where they don't even prep for Chengdu because how are you going to prep for Chengdu? But then they have Dallas 2 games in a row coming up next. So that might be all of their prep going into that. You just prep for Dallas and really focus on your 3-3, which is what Dallas runs, not what Chengdu runs.
Well, they're not going to keep us waiting for long, Hex.
Good.
That's the good news. We're going to get right into our last match and welcome the team to the stage, the Shanghai Dragons.
Last year, as everyone loves an underdog story, that was the underest of underdogs last year. There's Luffy coming in, part of a revamped support line. The entire roster is mostly changed, except for Geguri is back. Gamsu is the new addition. A lot of talent on this team. It's just about putting it all together. They got their first win, only 1 and 2, so still some hope for stage playoffs for this team, surprisingly.
That's, exactly. We're still early days here, Hex. Beginning of a new season with a new roster, essentially. They have set their sights higher than last year. Last year, underdog, toy dog, kind of just all sorts of fun.
Yeah. Now,
going into it, they're going to face off against their opponents who have got a bone to pick with them. It is the Chengdu Hunters.
I mentioned the term wild card, curveball, shenanigans, clown fiesta, fiasco, whatever. Last week I called them brawlers and scrappers. They've really embraced that, and they just play a completely different style. Guangzhou has tried some of the stuff. I guess everyone's advice to teams playing them is just don't try to play their style. They're going to do it better than you. They've embraced the chaos. Everyone on this team plays really well. Of course, everyone knows Amon is going to be the hamster, and then you've got a great Pharah play. Late Young's played a lot. Just across the board, this team is, I don't know, it's a welcome reprieve from some of the Overwatch that we see throughout most of the day because they're not going to always run 3-3. Variety is the spice of life.
Exactly, and they are high on life right now because we do get to see quite a bit of hamster just rolling. Just getting in there and doing work stuff.
No.
I went for it.
No. We are not Limp Bizkiting today.
Use the music. But, the Chengdu Hunters, we're going to see, can they roll their way to victory? Definitely big fans of Hammond. I'm a fan of the hamster, and we'll see if the Shanghai Dragons are fans as well.
I'm just a fan that they play their own style, their own brand. Chinese Overwatch has always had its own meta, right? And now they've kind of brought it in. Before anyone played Doomfist, they were playing Doomfist, and they don't care. They don't care what the meta is. They're going to play their own style, and Chengdu really wants to be known as the Chinese team.
So let's go ahead and take a look at the maps for this series. Final series of the day presented to you by Toyota. Busan. We've been seeing a lot of Busan lately, Hex. You and I, at least personally.
Love it. I absolutely love Busan. I'm just a fan of this map mode in general. If I could only play one map type in my Overwatch ladder, it would just be Control. I love the chaos. I love being able to actually run Tracer without your team yelling at you too much. But this is exactly kind of the map that Chengdu's made their style known on, and then other teams have tried to match their style on Busan, and it has not worked out greatly for a lot of teams.
To no avail. Chengdu knows something that the other teams don't. They're trying to figure it out. But the book is checked out of the library. They gotta wait, Hex. They gotta wait on that guy who's always late.
All right, so Amon on the Hammond. It's the one small variation that they have here. They're going to run it with a Zarya. Late Young's going to be playing the Zarya. On the other side of things, it is 3-3 with a Winston variation. So a couple different main tanks here.
Literally just pinballing around there in the streets, but now we're going to see him try and work his way closer. As Amon just goes barreling into the competition. Big slam, the stun, the focus fire. No shenanigans allowed. This time, instant punish, and I hope that's not going to throw him off, because right now, the Shanghai Dragons are just barreling into the Hunters.
Just crush that first fight. The way you deal with this style, Chengdu, I call them a wild card, but they kind of only have this curveball pitch, right? Where Hammond is going to go in, he's going to try to disrupt, and the rest of the team tries to pick you off. So a lot of the pressure is going to be on Youngjin here to use the shield bash to stall him out, make sure he can't move, because once you take away Hammond's mobility, he becomes just a giant ball that you can charge up for your ult side.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like Roadhog Light. There it is, another smash, another stun combo, and another kill. Going to keep trying to run this? I think not. Gamsu is getting topped up. He dropped dangerously low there, but this should be another fight in which the Hunters have to back off.
This is a situation where you just have to play around your Brigitte here, because if you get isolated by this Hammond, you're going to be in trouble. But if you play with your Brigitte, you stun, focus fire, and they've gotten absolutely nothing from Amon so far.
Can't save him. Wondering on the positioning from Late Young if he's getting the bubble out in time. Wasn't quite able to spot it. Up on the roof, he misses his smash, and so we will have rallies thrown in here from both teams, looking to take the fight. Late Young will get the good focus from his support, barely surviving the focus fire there. Self-destruct is chucked over the side, and now it's all or nothing here. We have the trance getting used by Keo, keeping his teammates up, but not quite. Amon gets overwhelmed. Man advantage, although that ends as the self-destruct goes off. Coma is out of it, so it's a 5-on-5 fight, and Amon is going to be able to get into this much faster.
I should be able to get back, but Late Young ends up eating his own self-damage. Keo falls, Jinmu falls. This one is all Shanghai thus far. Only one kill on the board for Chengdu, so we reach 80% control for the Dragons.
Yeah, they're looking so solid, but this has been kind of the theme of the day, it feels like, on these control maps to kick things off. First point, one team stomping repeatedly on another. And unless the Hunters can come up with a solution here, they're going to be hard-pressed. Mines are up for Amon, so we'll see. We have the rally used as well to initiate. Amon on a mission right now, looking to come in on a clever angle. He's going to set up on point, could use these mines to zone out a corner of it as well. Just making sure he dodges the self-destruct. No worries there. Still a few ults online here for the Dragons.
He drops the mine, he gets grabbed immediately. Nice focus there as Luffy gets him down, and then transcendences as well. Now it looks like it's just time for cleanup. So much cleave damage from Gamsu. Uh-oh, Primal Rage, and there's an edge over there.
Yeah, exactly. I was just thinking, chuck him in front of the tracks. It'll be a tragedy. Not quite working it out. Gamsu just doing a good job of just staying alive at this point.
Well, Late Young's coming back in. He's got grab. He gets very low, so he has to use it. Desperation grab works out. Chengdu will clean up the remainder of this fight. Finally get some kills. Finally win a team fight decisively. You're going to have to hold on for the rest of this map as the Dragons only need one more fight win to take control back of the point. Gamsu's going to switch it onto a Reinhardt instead.
Yeah, so, well, I mean, Shanghai Dragons, they seem aware, obviously, of the situation right now. They're going to go ahead and play the long game. Get that shield, that reliable shield to hide behind. And, well, Amon looking to slam. Yep, gets nearly all of them. Has to back out, though. The focus fire has been excellent on Shanghai's side. They really know how to really put the pressure here on Amon, who's going to be looking for the flank on Gamsu, just doing the best he can to survive. Rest of the team, however, are clashing. DM going in for the grab. They lose Gamsu here on the Dragons, but then get the double kill, Late Young included. That's the real high-value kill.
And Eveltal almost had sound barrier up too. He's 91%. Can they stall out long enough to get him back in? A little juke off the side. Elsa goes down too. It's desperation time. They're going to be able to get their Lucio back in at least.
Yeah, they need to do a little bit of surviving though, and it's going to be the sound barrier just to buy time, hoping that they can hold, but it's not looking likely. Gamsu showing them how a hamster gets played in the end. And the Shanghai Dragons, so solid on the first point. Even when the Hunters manage to flip the point their way, it doesn't really feel like Shanghai are flustered. It feels like they're just going to go ahead and win that one key fight that gets the job done.
Yeah, and we talk about the prep for Chengdu. How do you practice against this? I don't know that you necessarily need to. Again, I've maybe overstated how kind of wacky it is now that we've gotten a couple weeks of Chengdu. They do the same thing every time, and not everybody does, but Amon pretty much does the same thing every time. So if you're in position with some of those stuns, with some of the crowd control, you're able to stun him and kill him. I mean, the first couple fights were just disastrous.
It was just him dying, Amon dying, and then
you know,
rest of the
jumping
team
on the rest of the team.
Exactly. There's nothing to stop him at that point. So, Yeah, a bit of a questionable approach so far, but we'll see. I mean, Shanghai Dragons clearly prepared, or at least they've got a game plan going into this, and it's working so far. It's on the Hunters now to show their versatility. They have to change up on the spot here if they want to get to something done on the second point. Otherwise, Shanghai Dragons going to pick up the first map of this series. Best of 5 series. We're looking for the first team to 3 maps. So now this is the dance. Everybody, you know, Gamsu trying to be sneaky, kind of tough as a 600-pound gorilla.
Now the initiation comes in. So far, Amon has lived a little longer than the last stage at the very least. Both teams kind of feeling each other out, trying to build up ultimates here. The slam comes in, big disruption, but his team's a little late to follow up on it, and Shanghai's able to regroup. Gamsu very low right now, though. He will be the first to fall.
And there we go, some success, no doubt. Help from the Discord orb. The focus fire rather, just too hot on Gamsu. Trading tanks, name of the game it seems, and Late Young going to be able to cut him off as well. Looking for the follow-up, long distance, not going to get it. And instead, the Hunters get to back off. And here's a change of strategy coming through now for the Dragons.
Yeah, Ding is going to go on to the Sombra. Sombra also really good at dealing with the Hammonds. And now that they're already behind in ultimates, it can help you win a fight with a single ultimate.
No, grab gets thrown in, and Among just gets obliterated yet again. Gone. Ult has been used, however, by Jinmu, so that's the rally out of it. Bonus armor there for the team. Self-destruct over the side. Nobody found, and the Halcon Eviltal means that he's just going to have to back off. This was a lost fight anyways for the Hunters. You do not want to be using ults at this point.
Amon is going to try to stall. He's on the point, has mines, but there he goes. He gets hacked. He gets taken out as well. The Dragons have restabilized, and now they're going to have EMP going into the next fight. Probably a Shatter, too. An EMP Shatter can be enormous, although Shatter is very likely to find value against a team like Chengdu anyway, because there's really no shield to block it.
And just once again, straight in with the mines this time. Decides to cut off the right flank. Among still on the hunt right now for a target, trying to take advantage of that bonus shield, and instead he's just going to whip himself into the fight. Has to be careful though. Now you can see he's kind of just paying attention, trying not to overextend. He's staying close to his supports, and that doesn't change the fact that he's still going to die. Everybody out of it. Shanghai Dragon's going to roll him.
Now, this kind of strategy works best when it's not really run with the rest of 3-3. It's like they're running 3-3 and just having Amon run hamster. It works when Amon is able to get in there, do a lot of damage, and then he's got flankers and damage dealers to help him up, to be able to finish these kills. Because he doesn't get final blows as Hammond very often. He does a lot of damage, but you need someone else there. You're going to try to hit the Shatter here, but nice sound barrier defense. And Amon comes in on the Rhine, gets the first kill onto Gamsu.
Yeah, perfectly timed. Gamsu out of it. The grab gets thrown in as well. Does force the trance out of Kyo, but the rally is now online, and the Hunter's really committing to this fight. They want to find the kill on DM, and they will succeed. The rest of the team follows, and the Hunters certainly will succeed in flipping the point. Bit more fight here. Big thing is that they've broken. Hex took a point and a half, but we no longer have a hamster.
I know, it's a bummer, but I'm okay with it. I understand you have to kind of win. It doesn't work in this kind of a scenario. Now, if we go to a third stage and it's mecha base, I'd be surprised not to see hamster again. Late Young almost has grab up. Amon, who just switched to Reinhardt, at 60% on his Earth Shatter, so they're going to have some stuff to work with here.
And, well, Gamsu's there to lead the charge. Rally gets used as the grab gets thrown in. Self-destruct, point blank, and Gamsu taken for a ride! The Hunters with the perfect combo. That's exactly how it's supposed to go down, and they win the fight handily.
Well, and now it's going to be up to the Dragons to get back to the point. There is an EMP ready and a sound barrier. I would expect Amon to throw the Shatter in as soon as he sees an opening. If he can just put him on the ground, then they're going to win the point by default.
The EMP gets used, but that was clever. Kyo able to cut his line of sight, and so he has trance. Going to be difficult to find kills to capitalize off of it, and the Hunters will be able to block Shanghai Dragons at the choke point. No touch on the point, no contest, and it's a tied up first map so far. We're going to Mecha Base, Hex.
Yeah, we might see some shenanery going into Mecha Base.
This is where you can see like Tracer Sombra.
These Zenyatas are so ridiculous in the Overwatch League. Zenyatta, in most games, is just hard countered by Sombra. Strips off his shields down to 50 HP. You might as well just be a wisp in the wind, and when you get EMP, you might as well just die. But these Zenyatas are hiding. They're protecting their team with Transcendence. They get Transcendence the moment they hear a decloak. I'm just waiting for the next level strats where you hear a decloak and then you don't EMP to bait out the Transcend, and then it becomes these crazy 9th level mind games. Hamster back in the mix, but again, going just with the 3-3 with a hamster in it. I kind of preferred it when they ran this with more DPS, but we'll see if it works out here.
Possible. Unfortunately, combo is not there. Does manage to go ahead and get that bubble popped. So a little bit of damage there for Late Young, bit of energy. Gamsu on the Rhine, just marching his way forward, and we've got Ding. He's changed over to the Sombra. So we will have that Sombra in play here now that they saw that Among was going to try and stick to his old ways. Oh, that would be a nice hack, but it's not going to happen.
Still stunned. He's going to have to roll away. No one in control just yet, but still full fighting force. This is where Hamster can be so difficult to fight. He can knock people off.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, especially when you catch him in the open. Glad we got the overhead view there to really see it in all its glory. But Daimon coming right over the top. Everybody getting knocked up in the air. Gamsu dropping dangerously low, and his team just not able to keep it together.
Tried to go for the mid-air hack, I believe, unable to finish that one off. Late Young now has Graviton. Surge, the follow-up would be maybe a minefield dropped on top of it. I like how it looks. It's not always the most effective thing, but it's a unique combination.
Oh, Rally just throw. Grav is in. Gamsu with the first kill, following it up with a shatter. No hesitation on his part. Jinmu is low, and the EMP comes in as well. This has got to be the KO punch. Self-destruct canceled out. And it's certainly going to be Shanghai Dragons looking fairly good here. They've got a presence on the point, about to flip it. Need a contest here from the Hunters, and they get it.
Yeah, the Hunters will jump in and out onto the point. A late Graviton. Is there any cleanup for this team? There's the minefield, but it's a little bit too late. It comes as the Graviton had dissipated.
Yep, second too late there, unfortunately. You can admire the thought, though. Did get a good slam, but now he's gone, and it is Shanghai Dragons so far winning this fight. They do succeed in flipping the point, and that stops the Hunters at 60%. Nice round number.
And the late chase comes in, fully charged Zarya at about 70%, does a ton of damage, able to get the DMAC. They're not even going to have to chase the Pilot Diva. Elsa just going to switch heroes, I believe, and then get back onto the Diva, get a remake that way. Probably not real close to the self-destruct. Now the Dragons have the Graviton of their own, and most importantly, both support ultimates. On the other side, support ultimates are going to be up for Chengdu, so see if they use Barrier here. Nope.
Point blank Grav. Kyo does manage to commit the trance in here, but they still lose Jinmu. That's going to slow things down here for the Hunters. I'm going to have to be careful he doesn't get overwhelmed either. Shanghai doing a really good job of taking the fight to him, and they still have the EMP and the Shatter combo to continue to buy time with.
This is the downside of not being ultra practiced on 3-3. You see a lot of these things are coming a second too late. They really wanted to use Transcendence during that grab. He didn't have it during it, so then they lose one early on. Huge EMP comes in, gets two hacked. Only one kill so far, but now they're just chasing it down. Dragons looking to punish.
Oh, buddy, there you go. Youngjun gets the kills. Gamsu's there to set him up. And they still have both of their support ults on the side of Shanghai. Taking the lead now as well. Gamsu not looking too stressed at the situation either. So it's on the Hunters now to try and make it work. They're still so far off on their ults, but it is going to be the rally to lead the way. Speed this team up and try and get them onto the point all the quicker. Ding just going to open it up with a kill on Kyo, though, and it's Late Young now, kind of from his perspective. There's the grab, going out, point blank, looking for shots. Not going to find him, though, because the trance is there. Luffy keeping his team up. And then we've got the follow-up sound barrier. This is going to be the knockout punch thrown in by Shanghai. Self-destruct completely useless on Elza's side. And Shanghai on the edge of pulling it off. Jinmu going to try and buy time on the point.
Another enormous EMP gets through. A late hack onto Elsa will add a 4 to that list of useless people on the point. Desperation, Earthshatter comes in, but that is going to be Shanghai taking our first map of Busan. The Dragons, no longer dormant, come out swinging.
Doing an excellent job here with the follow-up. You know, some questions coming into this match. Will they be able to keep the streak alive? Are they going to be able to start getting those W's on the board often? We'll find out if it can keep it up after the break.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
countdown has begun to get into the second map of this series. Shanghai Dragons in the lead. They let it go to 3 points, Hex, but the last one looked decisive. What do the Hunters got to do to change things around here, man?
Well, I mean, Monty always says when you play Chengdu, you can't opt into the clown fiesta, right? You got to play your own style. If I'm Chengdu, I don't want to opt into the boring style of 3-3 that everyone else is running, right? You're not as practiced on it as some of these other teams, and it was evident based on how some of the ultimates were used. There was almost no combination attempt with a Graviton into a self-destruct. The transcendences were late. Everything just seemed to second off, not as crisp as teams have practiced at 3-3. What I'd like to see Chengdu do is just do what they normally do. Throw some weird stuff at them, see if the other team can handle it, because right now their 3-3 does not look up to snuff. And then they always started at disadvantage on 3-3 because they'd start Women, then switch to Reinhardt. Like, if you're going to commit, really commit, or, in my opinion, just don't commit at all. Now, this is offense on Numbani, so this is what they like to run. They like to run a Pharah and a Sombra, and this has been very good for them in the past. We've seen Hammond actually work earlier today for London, I believe. Ran a Hammond trying to knock people off the stairs, so I don't dislike it. This is the Chengdu I want to see. You're not going to beat people at their own game, just as people aren't going to beat you at your own game.
Yeah, there you go. Change it up. Force them. Rewrite the rules. Gamsu on the edge right now. Among just trying to keep a little bit of a presence, and right now it's going to be Jinmu and Yveltal up in the air. The pharmacy is open for business, and they are just pummeling at this point. Not a whole lot of answers on the Dragon's side for this.
Yeah, I mean, not a whole lot would be an understatement. 0 answers, maybe
Listen, Zenyatta, anybody
up there, but
anybody can channel their inner Jonak, man. Anti-air, who needs it? I've got Zen.
You need to Discord and then chase it with the Diva, but the problem is they're hanging out over the ledge as well, so they're playing so far away that that's almost not even an option as well. They're just going to try to do as much poke damage and hopefully get a kill. Want some disruption from Amon coming in as well, and then trying to isolate targets here.
Oh, I don't think he saw him. Oh, that's unfortunate. I don't know if he spotted Luffy out. That would have canceled out the trance. Instead, the trance gets used right now.
That's really good for them. They're going to have EMP and Barrage, and that's what you're waiting for. The nano boost onto the Pharah. That's one way to live through a Barrage. They do get 1 kill. Now it's time for the cleanup as the minefield drops as well. I don't like that.
What don't you like about it, X?
That was a 1 fight. You already won the fight. There were 3 dead, and then you just choose to hack anyway. I mean, you're supposed to hack the planet, not hack a small rural town of population 5, right? Not quite the value play.
I'm sure there's other evil corporations that will benefit.
However, they might be switching off of this anyway.
So
there's very possible that they don't want to run the Sombra, so they might just use it anyway. But still, I think you could have saved it for this point and then translocate it back to spawn. It looks like they're staying on it anyway.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just watching to see if there are going to be anything, any major changes coming through, but it's not looking like it. At least for now, they're sticking to their guns. I mean, nearly have a boost online. It's looking like the Mercy's still going to stay in play here as well, and so the Dragon's now ready to just set up shop.
Yeah, I think staying on this at the percentages you're at makes a world of sense. You're nearing a Valkyrie, you're nearing nano boost, you've got almost everything else online. You know what would be awesome to combo with this would be an EMP.
As you look away, you need to turn the mic away if you do that, man. Oh man, Gamsu's gonna open it up, punishes him. The helmet is out.
They might just wait for EMP anyway. Now that Elsa's at 75%, that's really one tank farming, translocate back into spawn kind of roundabout anyway. So we'll see if they can get in position to get this EMP charge and then use the barrage. But Shanghai should know it's coming.
It's not really working around the edges though, Elsa. He's kind of hanging out in the front lines. Self-destruct is just gonna go sailing in. Doesn't really connect with anybody. Kind of forces him around, but not quite what they were looking for, perhaps. And well, here we go. It is going to be the barrage. Straight in, 2 kills. Immediately make that a 3rd. Could not have gone better, but a boosted barrage does so much damage.
That's one heck of a barrage right there. Did not even need to use the EMP. Now trying to get the final cleanups here. Elsa does come in big with the late cleanup on that damage dealing Sombra. And now the carts are rolling.
And with the wings online as well, they've got some throughput, EMP as well now, and we will have Dings switch over to an EMP of his own, or at least a Sombra of his own, which will eventually lead to an EMP of their own, which might lead to a win, Hex.
Right. Now earlier,
see that chain of thought, how I connected the dots? I'm awesome.
There's the EMP right there. It catches several, and the self-destruct comes in late, ends up taking down DM. And now Shanghai needs to try to get some kills here because they just committed a lot of ultimates to this fight. They used Rally, they used Sound Barrier as well. trying to get back in here and fight. Another barrage is going to shut the door, literally. And yeah, this is the Chengdu I like watching.
Yeah, this is it. This is what we want to see. Shanghai not quite knowing how to handle this. They're just getting pummeled. And that's a second point picked up. 3.5 minutes here to find success with the third.
One of the reasons they got off of the D.Va is that Graviton Self-Destruct is not going to have that much impact when everyone is so spread out. However, getting off the D.Va means that this Pharah is going to just do whatever she wants to do.
Kind of. Oh, nope. There's a personal pocket healer flying in the skies alongside Jinmu. Doesn't have to worry about a couple orbs. You need headshots to drop
Yeah,
this
they
guy.
tried to hack it. When you hack a Pharah, all of her abilities make her drop like a stone to the ground, but there is the grab early on. Amon has been the target of several solo grabs so far this series.
And that is going to slow things down here, Hunters. You see them backing off. I mean, he's out there. That is kind of a Hammond thing, just out on your own, but he was really out there on his own. Like, nobody around. Nobody in line of sight to help him. And so that's just going to delay things further. But again, because the Hunters have been fairly efficient, they've still got some good time here to work with. 2.5 minutes on the clock. And the Dragons, they've got thing. Keeping an eye on him. Yep, sure enough, there's the EMP. Hits the Pharah, hits the Mercy. There's the Brigida follow-up, and that combo is dead.
I really like the adjustment the Dragons have made on reevaluating the value of ultimates, knowing what you're going up against. So they got off of the D.Va because the ultimate's not going to have that much value. You're not going to have giant Gravitons with this giant clumped-up team. And then also they're using Grav in a way to just get one kill because you're not going to grab everybody in it based on what Chengdu's running. So they reevaluated how much ultimates are worth and when to use them, and they've actually ended up using them to great effect.
A couple of solid ults on the line as well now. Luffy and Gamsu keeping an eye on them. That Shatter could be, fight changing here. And sure enough, just going to throw it in. They can eliminate Late Young. This could get interesting, but instead it's going to be yet another barrage coming right through. Trance gets used, only picks up the 1 kill, but still, that's DM out of the fight. No Zarya here to bolster the damage on Shanghai's side.
Well, they were able to isolate Gamsu. They've got to get this kill, though. Now he's got his team in there. There's the EMP, and now just looking for the cleanup through the skies. They've got everything they're looking for. 90 seconds remain for Chengdu to try to finish out Numbani.
Solid work. They're nearly there. Respawn time is going to be back here for Shanghai, though. They are going to be able to force their way out through the choke. Elsa hanging out on the edge. No EMP, though, so it's just point-blank farming. Kyo taking advantage of the sniper scope to just get that long-range heal going. And now you're kind of just sitting. There you go. There's the boost. Do we have a combo online? Jinmu's nearly got the barrage.
You could boost Jinmu, and he will get to his combo, or get to his barrage, rather.
It's tough. EMP is in. DM is going to find it. This is just going to be the straight boosted on the ground Pharah. Point-blank rockets. Still finds a kill. Has to be careful, though. Might not be enough. Sound barrier getting thrown in by Shanghai.
He's going to wait for his healing to come back up. Got to get out of there. A little miss of concussion might cost him. You want to use that blast to get yourself out of harm's way, but it can be very finicky on some of these surfaces, whether it launches you enough to get away. He does pay his life for it. 30 seconds remain. Chengdu needs to be patient here. You only have one fight. That's it. You're just going to have one fight. So you can wait for everybody to be in the right position.
Or you can get picked off. There you go. Late Young taken for a ride he did not want to get on.
They're going to get the res, though.
They do get the res off, and so Late Young still has to start over with the energy. We're going to get the pocket at Jinmu. Goes for the barrage, doesn't find any kills. Solid positioning from Shanghai, negating the ultimate. Elsa's got the EMP online, and he will get the flank. 3 hacked for the Dragons, but they're doing a good job of spreading it out. It's making it difficult for the Hunters to get the focus fire necessary to find kills.
Get EMP.
Oh, and there it is. The follow-up, Evil Tell out. That's a huge amount of healing gone. Thing just following it up, and Shanghai Dragons going to hold in the end.
A spirited offense from Chengdu, an entertaining offense at the very least, but unable to close out the map. And again, even despite not running 3-3, not being crisp, it does seem like there's still a couple combination issues that aren't working well. They'll use big damage ults and then EMP afterwards, whereas if you're just a little more patient, Late Young should not have been peeking around the corner when they got grabbed early in that fight, and that made them have to go back to spawn. There's just some very small errors that if they're corrected, then you're winning maps more efficiently, or easier at least.
But then they wouldn't be as chaotic.
I know, so I'm kind of torn.
Are you torn or not? Because
No,
I'm a little torn.
Yeah, they're not really this Chaos team. It just seems like that because of the compositions, but they are trying to work some of these together. But then sometimes when a fight breaks down, there's like, yeah, just go for it. Just go for it. They believe that they can trade up, get 2 kills for 1 ultimate, get 2 ultimates used for 1, and why wouldn't they believe that? It's worked for them in the past.
Well, we're about to find out if Chaos does indeed reign here. As the Dragons are going to flip over to the offense, and it's up to the Hunters to get an organized defense together. They need to snuff the Dragons and tie up this series. Dragons, though, they're definitely looking for that 2-0 lead. Because the Hunters did not succeed in getting a 3rd point. Definitely possible here for Shanghai.
I'm a little bit surprised they didn't switch off of their composition onto last because they got second with a good amount of time in the bank.
Yeah.
They could have built up for 3-3. That's what they've done on this map before, is they run that kind of weird combination of heroes early, but then when it gets to the final push, they just switch to standard 3-3. So opted not to in this situation.
You know, after Control, after Busan, lost faith perhaps in the style or in their ability to play it. We shall see, though. Offense now begins for Shanghai, and already getting pummeled, getting smushed. Luffy is out of it, and Diding looking for the follow-up. This is that's uncomfortable. Jinwoo just getting caught off completely. And
there goes your Genji.
yeah, I know, kind of like, how does this pan out?
Nice to see you. I mean, 53% charge is pretty good. They're going to try to get a blade up and hack through some of these beefier characters here. Shanghai taking this slow road up to the tie ground.
Gamsu's gone for the change as well, so we have the Winston, so that he has mobility, so he can do exactly that. Not that, actually. Not the dying part. That's not part of the plan. But a beautiful sleep getting thrown in by Kyo just punishes Gamsu. He was asleep mid-air and then focused down.
Should be able to demech the Siva. Actually, down at the Mega Pack. Not going to save you very long, but we do appreciate you donating that health pool to our ultimate charges. Now the stagger.
Yes, Jinwoo. He's ready to whip out the blade. Do not oblige Ding, but they are going to do it anyway. It's not all about the stats.
Well, let's see where they want to use this blade here. I mean, EMP Blade is a devastating combo. EMP anything, it so seems, is a devastating combo. Turns out using abilities is really good, and not being able to use abilities is very bad.
Especially because Shanghai on the offense, they have to group up. They have to stay focused. If they're spread out, you're not going to have as much fun in terms of picking people off. But now, Gamsu going to lead the way, instantly countered by a nano boost. He needs to get more out of this. Only the 1 kill. 2 ultimates, only 1, but that still sets it up. It cut off the support from the front line, and Gamsu in the meantime dies. Shanghai Dragons bleeding more time off the clock.
They're going to have to back out a little bit. They did want that ultimate to be used, so the 1 kill is bad when you nano boost a Genji. You expect more out of that. I'm so surprised they're not using EMP with some of this stuff, because that seems like it would have cut it up. Not the case, though. Now time to rally and push.
EMP, though, that's not about to happen. Self-destruct in the open, finds no targets. Instead, it's someone getting cut off from the rest of his team. Feel like we've been saying that a lot. Still 5 alive here for the Hunters. Still a tough defense for the Dragons to crack. Can't really get their fangs sunk in. Both of their tanks dead.
EMP self-destruct went in. So now, Shanghai with under 90 seconds, going to have a Graviton, and Yveltal is going to have to hold on to this Transcendence to save his team in a grab. But they're so spread out, they might just grab Among again.
They're thinking about it. Tempted. Might go ahead and throw it now that he's getting low. No, just focus him down. Hack just a second too late there, unfortunately. And now we're getting some real progress on the point here for the Dragons. 2 ticks. Looking like a 3rd. Late Young gonna delay, but it was Pilot Diva, not the real big thing. And so that's it. Shanghai Dragons find success. First point for them, and now they get 3.5 minutes to push the payload.
All right, this is a situation where they're going to want to stay on this composition, but they need to be retreating a little bit faster. But with no Lucio, you have no retreat options. When the other team has a Lucio, they're just faster, and they're able to hunt them all the way down back to spawn.
I'm liking the bloodthirstiness out of Gamsu as well. A true dragon. Just only, it's all about dominating Hex. Ask for no quarter, give no quarter, smash them.
Asserting your dominance.
Exactly.
All right, Elsa's trying to get in position for an EMP here. They should have Blade up for this next fight, too. You can see EMP Blade, you can see EMP Mines.
Hey, look, there's a Sombra. What's she about to do? Looking like it's going to be an EMP setup, and sure enough, it's in. Doesn't work, though. Gamsu Going to start it off strong. They're trading 1 for 1. Both of the Divas are battling it out, and that's going to result in Late Young getting overwhelmed.
There's a hack up top, though. Onto that Diva. Be surprised if they let him out. Din getting very low. Hacked again. This is the second time he's been hacked, and they've been unable to complete the kill.
No focus fire, no follow-up at all. Among has to back off. He can't face 1v4 like that, and so they are going to get some progress here. Nearing the second point, the Dragons. Can the Hunters stop him? This is looking a bit dicey.
Din got isolated and hacked twice and lived through it. Now he's at full fighting force on the cart, has self-destruct ready, and Chengdu just gives it up. Gives up the ghost.
They're getting isolated, Hex. Now they're getting cut up one after another. Looked like there was a combo there possible. EMP going off, and yet just lacking on the follow-through here for the Hunters. They've got no more ground to give. This is it. They need to hold here at the arch, and the self-destructs are traded. No kills through. Everybody able to find a foxhole to jump in. And now it's Gamsu just kind of leaping all over the place right now. Once again, into the back line he goes. He's dangerously low, though. Good focus from his supports there to keep him alive. Guess he's just kind of feeling, you know, with impunity, he can just walk in and just do what he wants. Seems like it, because DM is going to kick off this party with a kill on Jinmu. Out in the open, Among is getting just ignored flat out. He's in the back trying to contest on the cart.
Yeah, speaking of just walking and do what you want, that's exactly what they did with that grab. Just shot him right at the Diva. Must have known Matrix might have been on cooldown, but just the disrespect play. Outside has to EMP. You have to EMP. Call.
Hey, it's a cloudy night, Tex.
That's a Chengdu niner right there.
Oh, buddy. They were there. Just the timing is split second off. Could not get the coordination in. Bodies were alive to be thrown on the point. They just couldn't do it fast enough. We're going to be taking a break, and when we come back, we'll hear what the halftime crew have to say.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Toyota, official North American partner of the Overwatch League. Toyota, let's go places.
Last week, the Dragons ended a 42-game losing streak. Now, they're looking at the start of a winning streak here in the Overwatch League. They're currently up 2-0 over the Hunters here at the half. We got so many many happy Shanghai fans in the venue tonight because they are currently one map away from starting their first ever winning streak. We got Bren, we've got Zoe, and we've got a guy back for the Shanghai Dragons that we all got to know in his last match. Ding is popping off again, Bren.
Yep, he's a big lad. I'll give you that one for free.
The biggest of lads.
Is it a unit? Would you call him a unit?
Possibly, yeah. You know, he might be privy to that sort of label, but he's been playing very well. You know, I've been a big fan of his Sombra play. What's clear from me is that Shanghai have recognized, how did they win this game? You know that Eamon, he likes to play Wrecking Ball. How do you counter that? Well, you play a lot of Sombra. You try and hack him, you try and get the disables going on the back lines. That's been the key for Shanghai Dragons. I like that they haven't been getting too caught up in trying to focus down Eamon occasionally. Sometimes they look like a dog chasing after a tennis ball, but it's only rarely, you know. But overall, Shanghai playing very well.
Yeah, Ding actually got so many hacks off. He barely died. He was incredible slippery throughout the entirety of that match. And I think this is the first team which actually managed to force Eamon away from his Wrecking Ball comfort pick and into Ryan, which oddly enough was that one round they won. Now looking at Ding's stats, it's actually incredible. For the amount of time he actually played on Busan, 30 enemies hacked, 0 deaths.
That's 30 hacks in 7 minutes.
Exactly.
Without
How
dying.
is that even possible?
Puggy, how many hacks per minute is that?
2.1 and a half.
It's not the case. No,
Yeah.
that's not true. That's not right. Now I know why you're the
2.1 and a
host.
half was my answer. I felt like Bren right there. Well, as good as Ding was and our math is bad, we should highlight what was going down in our second game, because as we went to Numbani, I thought, okay, we're going into half tied 1-1 because Shanghai is doing nothing to counter this Pharah play that we all expected going all the way back to the pre-show here.
Exactly, and I don't understand why they didn't try to counter it. They made a very small attempt. Ding went over to the Diva on Street's face, and after just one barrage, he's like, nah, it's fine, let's just go back to Sombra. And the only reason why they actually held them to that last point in the very end was because Ding got a big EMP off. If that wouldn't have happened, they would have lost this.
Yep, Ding, once again, I think he's standing by the title we've given him of absolute unit. You know? I think that's fair enough, because he pretty much single-handedly stopped Chengdu Hunters. He was the real key for them and ended up essentially winning them this map, at least with the defense. Didn't let Chengdu close it out, but Shanghai were really struggling for a while, and I was pulling my hair out in the back just watching them, because they literally knew how to play around this from the first map, and then they seem to have forgotten for a little bit. But here you can see Jinmu's stats, and this guy, he's played, I think I saw Captain Planet, he's putting out some stats, 23% of all the Pharah.
Probably around 25% after that match. Ridiculous
exactly.
stuff. So the question for me, though, is, yes, these numbers are great, but if you're watching the game, you saw all the resources being poured onto Jinmu to allow that to happen. Knowing that you have a Pharah, your opponent has nothing to counter, and you still don't capture the third point. Are you worried for the Chengdu Hunters in the second half, knowing that they look a little bit limited with these compositions?
Yeah, this has always been a problem for Chengdu, is the fact that they're going to be too easy to read, because you kind of know what they're going to be coming out the gate with. So I feel like Chengdu should be sweating a little bit here. You know, need to be getting those personal towels out. You know, Shanghai were giving them out, I think, a year ago. Shanghai Dragons Day. Don't know when that is. When is that? Does anyone know?
It's soon. It's soon. Zoe, before we go, you and Hex were split. You won the face-off on our pre-show. Are you sticking with your prediction? Is it your Shanghai Dragons over his Chengdu Hunters?
I'm obviously winning this prediction game right now. So, yeah, Hex.
Competition.
It's definitely a competition. When I'm winning, it's definitely a competition. If not, then we're not so sure about that.
Los Angeles, are you ready for another Shanghai Dragon win? You can tell a lot of these people are here last season. They're coming back for their second win in the second half. They need just one more map. Don't go anywhere. Plenty more Overwatch League when we come back.
They don't just play for a team. They play for every fan, every rival, every moment, every match. And when everyone watching expects the best, they perform with the best.
Welcome back from the break, everybody, and the halftime show. Hex, Zoe was throwing some shade. I know it's hard for her, but, you know.
They cheat on the desk when they do those face-offs anyway. And look, I was picking with my heart because I'm defending the integrity of the entertainment value of this league. We need Chengdu's strategies to work so that they don't stop playing it. Otherwise, we're going to have 3-3 mirror matches throughout the rest of Stage 1. And I personally like some Pharah play, like some Tracer play, like some Hammond play. I like watching it. But thus far, it has not worked out very well.
So far,
it's
that's
been
fairly
tragic.
brutal. We were discussing that before going into the halftime, into the break, in terms of knowing when to change it up. That's probably the key.
Yeah.
Throw the crazy stuff out there, but just know when you need to go for the swap when it's not working. And so, Volskaya seen a lot of action on this map so far at the beginning of this season. It has the potential to go a long ways.
Yeah, and if Chengdu stays on this composition, I'm actually okay with it, but I want to see some improved Somber play from Elsa. I thought he got completely out-hacked by his counterpart on the other side of things, and Elsa was just too little too late, not getting to where he needed to be with those EMPs, not exactly getting the hacks or the eliminations that they needed, so I want to see him re-step up his game. He is staying on this. Let's go, Chengdu. They're going to run a Pharah again, too.
He's just got a lazy Sombra, Like, Sombra's supposed to be like this ultra-marathoner, just non-stop moving all over the place. And he was just like, you know what, I'm just going to ride the payload.
Yeah.
I was just going to ride the payload.
And there you go. It's a nice DMEC early on, so Ding is out of it, and now they're going to be able to really rain it down from above, because there's no D.Va to stop this. Now you're just eating rockets.
Oh, nearly gets it. Thought he got the deny there. That would have been sick.
Well, meanwhile, the mech call down kills Ama, which is not something you see very often. It will not matter, though, as Chengdu rolls in, quite literally, gets the kill, and now they've got a huge potential because Elsa has stepped up. EMP is ready, and they're going to have Barrage.
That couldn't have gone better for the Hunters. Way to strike back. Perhaps, during the break, coaches had a chance to get their input, and now they're on the same level. But from on high, Jinmu just doing his thing, cutting off some of these angles, making him a harder target to hit. And in the meantime, Elsa working on that back line. Lots of juicy targets. It is tough to nail everybody with an EMP on the defense, but he is going to go ahead and manage to pick up a few. That was a quad hack, and this is a wipe. Excellent execution coming in from the Hunters.
That's not justice raining. That is a storm from above, a torrent of rockets, and with a clean kill. That's how it's supposed to look. That's the execution that Chengdu's looking for. And you can't ask for any better.
Trying to look at the Shanghai Dragons' reactions over there. Gamsu not looking too pleased. Nonplussed. Amused slightly at how that went.
What are you going to do except kind of giggle that one off? Like,
you gotta shake it off.
You got Rex, then you got EMP'd Barrage. You had nothing to do. Like, that's exactly when we talk about Snowball on Assault maps. You take your dominant point A victory, and then you take that advantage in ultimates into the second point.
And this is what you get.
Yeah. This is perfect, though. They're patient on this, and then he takes this angle, knowing they're going to want to retreat, uses the movement abilities, crashes over the top. That's a 5K that's attributed only to Jinmu, but the EMP sets it up.
That's exactly right. Positioning his team, ferrying him in. Solid work from Jinmu as far. 5-kill Barrage. It's not every day we get to see that, Hex. Nearly an entire team wiped based off of one ult.
I'm just imagining a ladder world where all I see are yellow Pharahs and yellow Hammonds. They're really the only players in the Overwatch League representing those heroes. So you're up idols. Also, yellow just looks awesome on the skins. I guess it's like an orange. I've always kind of said it's like banana yellow, but whatever.
That's a thing.
Okay. Going back to spawn now.
They're cutting it close.
They're not going to be back there.
They're definitely cutting it pretty close. How quick are his hotkeys? Go, fast. Oh, well, he is going to be on the hamster. Really cutting it close, but they might be able to make it back in time. Okay, then, on the Hunters.
They're not going to hold at the doorway like a team with a Reinhardt would anyway.
No, look what they've got. Look at this. From on high, this is the setup, the Hunters. How do you crack this? How do you get out your front door, Hex?
Look at this lower third, though, just to drive the point home. That was the fastest full clear of Volskaya, meaning both points captured, recorded in the history of the Overwatch League. We played a lot of games last year similar.
That's actually an insane stat. Okay, then. Thank you, Captain Planet. And I'm loving this setup from the Hunters right now. Shanghai are kind of locked into this building. They can hear the creaking. It's like a horror movie, It's night, all the lights are off, and you hear the floorboards creaking from the attic.
You just hear a hamster squealing.
And then it's this ominous squeaking. What could it be? Imminent death, that's what it is. Let's go. Among looking for the back line, and he's going to find it. The pressure getting on. His teammates, however, have got to be careful, and he will eventually get deleted, as we've seen time and time again.
It looked like a missed grapple. He was starting to move, and then it stopped, and then he got bashed and cleaned up. But Chengdu's still going to fight in this because they don't really have an option to retreat. Going to get the hack. The Yveltal gets the opposing supports. The rally out. Gamsu falls, and Chengdu pulls it back from the brink, as they often do. Here comes the taxi back to spawn, too.
Gonna get things shaped up exactly. Beep, beep. Just give me a 5-star rating, please. Yeah, Yveltal, you'll get a 5-star. You'll get a 5-star. Let's go. Back into the action. Shanghai at the choke. This time, however, they've got some tools to use. They have the EMP on Ding. They've got Luffy's Trance online, and they're gonna get smushed immediately. Mines are out, and the Shanghai Dragon's getting evicted.
The boosted Hammond comes in there. 2 minutes left, and Shanghai has barely even snipped point A. I mean, they had some back cap pressure, but there wasn't a ton there, and they've been banking up ultimates, though. Almost all 6 online for Shanghai. You'd have to expect them to win this fight, but against Chengdu, all bets are off.
Yeah, exactly. Who knows? Who knows what is possible? Well, Late Young certainly, oh man, he got a glimpse at the other side. That was cutting it close. Hack out onto Elsa as well, or the EMP rather. Does connect. That's going to be a DMX Diva, and so nothing to stop DM here from chucking out the grab. Trance is in. All the ults getting thrown into this, and the Shanghai Dragons need to get value. They need to start finding some kills. The Sound Barrier is going to buy even more time.
Yeah, double stun, and now with Kyo falling, this one should just be about over. Not enough supports for Chengdu. Yveltal had some miracle plays last time. He's able to get 1 kill here, but now it's just about taking up as much time as possible.
Yeah, nice focus fire based off of the hacks. Solid work there. Shanghai, they managed to pull it together in the end. 50 seconds on the clock now. And they will get that first juicy tick. And so, we're going to see some rotations coming out here on the Hunter's side. Time to change things up. No longer a hamster. He has morphed into a full-blown Deutsch killing machine, clad in steel.
All right, so they make a couple switches. They're going to have Rally up. Nano should be there for a while, but as long as they can get a couple kills here, they should be able to reset and stabilize their economy, but an enormous EMP comes in.
That was looking pretty good. 3 kills immediately. They're crouched in the corner. Hex, they can't even show themselves. Petrified, that's what they are, the Hunters. Elsa's just going to go ahead and throw himself right into it. He's dead. Solo grab onto Jinmu. They want to get the job done here. Not even going to see it.
1 kill comes up on a Goma, but Luffy is cleaning up on the Zenyatta. That's it. No surprise that it is a slower time than the Chengdu offense, but that's a nice play there. We are tied up here on Volskaya, 2-2. We're going to run it back on the other side. We'll see you then.
A 3-minute break. We fooled you. We're back in the action already, everybody. 2-2 tied up.
There's some guy standing in front of his fridge now panicking. Like, I thought I had time for a sandwich. Oh, no.
Just slap some bam on that bread and get in here, man. It's tied up 2-2. The Hunters eating the Dragons. But the Dragons also got a hunt. They got a grip on that leg. They're not letting go.
Like, that was a pretty good offense from the Dragons, but they're 2.5 minutes behind the Chengdu offense. Now Chengdu has a little bit more of a traditional defense set up offensively. Dragon's not going to surprise anybody. This is what they've been running a lot of the day. A 3-3 variation, 3-2-1. The 1 being the utility damage-dealing hero in Sombra. And Ding's been playing that hero very well.
Indeed he has. We saw it in the halftime. Quite a few stats. They all looked big. They all looked impressive. So we'll see. Can he keep that level of performance up right now versus the Hunters, who are certainly showing that they've got some fangs of their own. And look at that. Just how he just barrels straight through. As soon as the tanks are off the high ground, all right, time to go. And he manages to whip his way back to the point and to safety.
You see even a great Hammond player like Amon have trouble getting in and out of places sometimes because the control is so different. It's momentum driven. It's like kind of like, I don't know, like an ice level in a platformer, right? You can't stop on a dime, and now he gets a little bit of trouble taken out, but Luffy exchange for the other side, 5v5.
That was a nice hack there to set it up for Ding. Long range with the Uzi is not the best.